Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be filming a Q&A. I thought it'd be best to film one because one, they're my favourite videos to film, and two, I feel like quite a lot of people have got a few questions to ask me. I always get a lot of questions regarding my pregnancy, what's going to be happening with my pregnancy, if it was planned, and loads of things like that. So I do get a lot of questions like that. So I thought it'd just be easier to just do a Q&A and I can answer them all, because usually when people ask me questions, it's usually very similar questions coming from several different people. So I feel like if I just address it in this video, then it's all done and we don't need to keep repeating it. Let's get straight on into the video. Do you wish Dylan was living with you? Sometimes, yeah. I think some moments make me want him here more. So if I'm feeling like, you know, quite hormonal and I'm watching some YouTubers, I don't know, like the Ace family or something like that, and they're all having family time together and at home and things like that, sometimes I do sit there and think, I want that. But just because he doesn't live with us, it doesn't mean that we can't do that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, sometimes I do wish he did live with us. Currently, he does not live with us. Will Dylan be moving in with you once baby comes? So we have not discussed this, so I'm kind of guessing that if we haven't discussed it and I'm already 26 weeks pregnant, it potentially will not happen. And that isn't a bad thing. You know, I am not willing to say to him, right, we're having our second child, you're moving in. I'm not going to do that. I'm not somebody that wants to go full force into something anyway. I want to gradually do it and see how we get along. Because being in each other's shoes 24/7, being with each other, moving in together is a huge thing. Obviously he does understand that I probably am going to need a lot more help with 2 kids, juggling 2 kids and making it happen with 2 children. He is aware of that and he will be on hand to help. But in terms of moving in, we just haven't really discussed it, so I don't really think it's going to happen. Is it just you and Cole at the moment, or do you have someone living with you? It is just currently me and Cole here. There's never been anybody else that's lived here. It's just always been me and Cole. Best way to pass the time? I'm very confused with this question because I don't know if you mean with your kids or by myself. In terms of with Cole, then I would definitely say don't look at your phone, concentrate on something. So for example, if you want to have some playtime with your little one, go ahead and do that, but stay away from your phone, because I feel like when you're constantly checking the time, but not just your phone, like anything that says the time on, just stay away from it. Because from my experience, I think it's worse to constantly be looking at a watch or a time or anything like that, because I think it just slows time down. And I think if you just go away from it and you focus on what you're doing, time goes a lot faster. How did Dylan react to baby? He was happy. I mean, he's a man. It's quite hard to tell how men feel. I don't know if it's the same with your partner, but yeah, sometimes I find it really hard to like see what he's feeling. He's a man, he doesn't open up a lot, but I think he was happy from as much as I could tell. He definitely wasn't upset about it or angry, which I think if it happened a few weeks before, I think he would have been. Just personally because I feel like maybe we wasn't ready then, or maybe we was just having a few arguments or something like that. But I feel like if it had happened a few weeks before, then he might not have been too happy. But when I told him, he was absolutely fine. And he even got me a test to confirm that I was pregnant, and he was really supportive, so that was a good thing. Have you got a name yet? Yes, we do have a name. I have had this name sorted before I even got pregnant with Cole. So I have always known what I wanted to call my little girl, always known. For quite a few years, to be honest, and that name has not changed. I have had some other names come into my mind and sit here and think, oh, I like that one. But me and my partner have agreed on this one, and obviously when you have a baby it's really important to agree on names. But if you guys are hoping that I'm going to tell you the name, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to keep it private until I've had the baby, personally, because that's what I did with Cole and it's what I intend to do with this one as well. What's your fave program at the moment? To be honest, I don't really watch a lot of programs or anything. I tend to just watch a lot of YouTubers and things like that in my spare time. During the day, obviously, as you can imagine, watch a lot of Peppa Pig and Mr. Tumble. That's the current obsessions in this house. But apart from that, in my free time, I tend to watch a lot of YouTube, so I don't really have a favourite programme, unless you want to count The Big Bang Theory as my favourite programme, but that's always been my favourite, and I think it always will be. I don't think anything could top The Big Bang Theory. I think it's the best thing to ever happen to TV. Best thing about being a mum. I think it's really hard to narrow it down to just one thing, because being a mum is honestly the most amazing thing in the world, and it's one of those feelings that you really can't describe. Unless you're a mum yourself, it's really hard to describe how being a mum actually feels. And I have several best things about being a mum, to be honest, apart from obviously everything in the world. I think one of the greatest things is being able to relive your childhood through them and being able to experience everything a second time round. I think that's quite exciting and quite interesting. Also, watching them grow, watching them get so clever. Cole is at that stage now where he's just getting so clever every single day, and just looking at that child, knowing that that's your child, it's honestly a crazy feeling. And I think everything about being a mum is the best thing, but without a doubt those two are probably up there with one of my best things about being a mum, for sure. One thing you miss about not being a parent. Not gonna lie, my life wasn't very interesting before having Cole. I don't really have a lot of, you know, things that I miss. But if I had to pick anything, it would probably be the freedom of doing something. So I don't just mean freedom in general, I mean freedom of doing something. So I'm a huge concert fan. I love going to concerts. It's one of my favourite things to do. I'm going to say it's probably a hobby, because it's literally my favourite hobby in the world. But I think the feeling of booking a concert, knowing that I can just go, know what I'm doing, come home, now is a lot different, because I've constantly got to think, right, so who's going to look after Cole? Who's going to watch Cole? You'll probably tell that I'm moving a lot in this video, and I'm so sorry, I just can't get comfy at all. So I do apologise for that and the angle changing 24/7. But like I was saying, I think the freedom of being able to book something and being able to do it without even thinking about it. Whereas now I've got to think about so many things when I book a concert. I've got to think, right, do I need accommodation? Can I afford to get there? Can I afford to go there? Do I have enough spare money to even book myself the chance to go to a concert? Who's going to watch the kids? So many questions, and I never had to second guess that when I did. Fave book. It's bad that I don't read. I mean, I've watched quite a few YouTubers and a lot of them don't actually read. So I don't feel that bad, but it definitely is something I want to get into, but it's really hard finding the time to sit and read a book. When I have some free time, I tend to watch videos, or I edit, or I will clean up. That is usually what I do. There's literally nothing else I tend to do in my free time apart from those things. So finding time to read a book is really hard, because if I start to read a book, I'll probably get really distracted. But I definitely do want to start reading a lot more, because it was one of my favourite things to do about 3 years ago. I could read a book in 48 hours because I was that into reading. So it will definitely be something I would absolutely love to do. A lot more of, for sure. So if you have any book recommendations, do leave them below and I might go and check them out, because I think that's probably the biggest reason I don't read as well. I don't really have any inspiration on what to read. Magazines and stuff like that don't interest me, but I feel like if I can get myself into a good book, then it might just get me back into reading. How's Cole coping? Again, I don't know if you mean in terms of the lockdown or in terms of me being pregnant, but I'm just gonna presume you mean the lockdown. The first few days, Cole was doing amazing and I was so proud of him. but I think at the minute it's definitely taking a strain on him for sure. We go outside once a day for a walk, and if obviously we need some essentials and things like that, but I found it really hard to get him back into the house. It is a massive tantrum to get him back into the house, and I am not going to picture this mum life being, oh, it's so cute, my child goes to bed on time, he eats all his meals. That is not true, and that is definitely not Cole. So we are having issues at the minute with tantrums. They are becoming a massive thing. Today he definitely wasn't very happy, and I don't think it helped because he actually didn't sleep for very long. And if he doesn't sleep for very long, he's going to be more rowdy and he's not going to be happy. So that is what I was dealing with today. Endless amounts of tantrums. He wanted to eat, he wanted to drink apple juice the whole day and refused to drink anything else but apple juice. And he didn't eat any of his lunch today, and he didn't eat any of his dinner either. The only thing he ate today was a little bit of Weetabix, and I think he's had maybe a few biscuits throughout the day, but that was it. So yeah, at the minute I would say Cole's not coping too well. To be honest, it's taking its toll on me as well, because I'm getting frustrated because he's frustrated, and I'm feeling bad because I don't know what else to do with him. There is only so many things that you can do in the house with a child. Honestly, only so many things. And I'm running out of ideas, and I'm honestly running out of sanity too. So yeah, Cole isn't coping too well at the minute. I mean, it definitely could be worse, but at the minute I definitely don't think he's coping as good as he was at the beginning. Fave movie of all time, I'm gonna have to say Collateral Beauty. I watched it when it came out in cinemas in 2016, and it definitely changed my perspective on so many things. So if you guys have not watched that, I definitely do recommend that you go and watch that because it is really good. How many weeks are you now? I'm 26 weeks. In terms of how many days, I think I'm 2 days, but I can't be that accurate on days, I only follow the weeks. Fave colour, purple. It's in my blood. If you're a believer, you will know. Have you ever had to phone 999? Nope, never had to phone 999. I've never had to phone 999, but I have had to ring 111 several times, but I'm guessing that's not as serious as 999, is it? Scariest moment of your life? If I'm completely honest, I don't know. We've had quite a few scares being a parent, but I'm definitely going to have to say probably the scariest moment for me so far. Oh God, no, I was gonna say my suspected ectopic pregnancy, but then I'd say my experience just after having Cole. So this is actually really hard. Can I say both? Maybe, let's say both. So after I had Cole, no joke, I was convinced I was gonna die. I was quite poorly after having Cole, and that took a massive toll on me. I couldn't even hold Cole because I was that convinced that I wouldn't be able to watch him grow up. I sat there and cried for days and days and days non-stop. I woke up and I cried. I went to sleep crying, and I just didn't stop. But also ectopic pregnancy, suspicion. Again, I didn't obviously have an ectopic pregnancy, but it was suspected. So that was another scary moment because again, I thought I was gonna die. I actually went to a hospital that my stepdad died in, and I was absolutely convinced I was gonna be joining him, to be honest, and it was absolutely terrifying. I had to have a catheter in, and the first thing I thought is, that's it, I've got sepsis and I'm gonna die. It is the scariest thing, going to a hospital and having someone worry. I think I'm more worried now that I've got kids, but my health is so important to me because I need to stay strong for my kids, and I need to be healthy, and I need to be well because of my kids. So yeah, they're probably the scariest moments of my life. I don't think I've got one. They're definitely the scariest times of my life for sure. Do you have baby names for your baby girl? So I have answered this question. I have chosen a name, yes. But again, I'll not be announcing it until I've had the baby. Where are you from? I'm from Derbyshire. Obviously not going to mention the town I live in because, you know, there are some creeps around here. So I'm not going to mention exactly where I live. That would be a little bit weird. Favourite snacks. I don't know if she's on about me or Cole, but I'm going to take this as they mean me. At the minute, it's chocolate. I'm craving anything sweet in this pregnancy. and I'm having so much chocolate, probably more chocolate than I've ever had in a year, to be honest. I am not the biggest chocolate fan, and that's because I have quite bad sensitivity with my teeth. So every time I eat something like chocolate, ice cream, or something like that, it gives me a really bad toothache. So I tend to avoid it. But as I'm pregnant, I've got to eat what the baby wants, right? So yeah, I have been having a lot of chocolate. Today I've had Heroes because my partner brought me a box of Heroes, which honestly is the highlight of my life when I am pregnant and all I want is chocolate and people are giving me chocolate. And I've had Milky Ways today as well. I don't know if I've had any more chocolate. Oh yeah, I've had dairy milk as well, but that's part of the Heroes box, so probably my favourite snack right now. Also tomatoes. Is that weird? Probably. But I've been really obsessing over tomatoes recently, and every single food shop I've had to have some tomatoes because I just really like them. I don't know if that's weird, but tomatoes is up there as well with one of my favourite things to eat. A food you dislike but will eat, not to be rude, and a food you definitely won't eat. It can definitely vary because I can be quite a fussy eater, to be fair. Especially when I don't know how my food is being prepared and things like that. It's really hard to explain, but I can be really, really fussy about my food. One of the things that I definitely will not eat, regardless of wanting to be rude, is parsley and fish. Parsley is the most disgusting thing in the world. It absolutely stinks. And the thing is with me, if something stinks, I can't eat it. Like, you can't put it near me, it's disgusting. So yeah, parsley is probably the most grossest thing that I've ever seen in my life. I will not ever eat parsley, and I will not intend to eat any parsley either. In terms of something that I would eat, not to be rude, I don't think there's anything, to be honest, because I'm quite a fussy eater, so it can really change depending on my mood and depending on who's prepared my food and what we're eating. Do you feel like you will be able to cope with 2 under 3? This is 100% a question that I've been asking myself so much since I became pregnant, and when I first found out I was pregnant the first few weeks, it definitely took a toll on me because I sat there and thought, I feel so guilty for bringing another baby into this world, knowing that I've already got a baby and that he's probably going to feel left out, because the last thing I want is for my kids to feel left out and feel like I'm spending more time than the other. But obviously with a newborn, they do need a lot more attention than Cole's probably going to need, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to go out of my way to leave one of them out. But it is definitely a massive worry for me, and I worry every day, like, how am I going to cope? One of the things that I'm worried about more than anything, which I've probably mentioned, is sleep. I feel like if I don't get any sleep, I'm going to probably find it even harder. With Cole, I was highly sleep deprived, like horrifically, to the point that I was out one day and I couldn't even open my eyes. Like, I was so tired. My eyes were constantly shutting, and that night my mum took him for the night for me because I couldn't keep my eyes open, and I feel like if she didn't do that, I don't know how I'd be feeling today. I think that night's sleep was definitely what I needed. So I need to make sure that I figure out some way to get some sleep, because if my toddler isn't sleeping, there is no chance that I can go for a nap in the day. I do find it hard to nap during the day. I think the hardest thing for me is going to be waking up the first few hours and being up with them when I'm extremely tired. With Cole, I always used to wake up at 5, so if he woke up after 5, then I'd get up and get ready for the day. Worst thing I ever did, and definitely I'm not going to be doing it with this one. She's probably going to want to wake me up at 4 and think we're having a rave or something like that, because that is just my luck with children. But hopefully, fingers crossed, she's a good sleeper, because I'm so worried about the night feeds. I feel like if I can smash the night feeds, I can smash anything. But yes, I'm very worried, especially for days out and stuff, because I feel like I'm going to have to rely on a lot of people to come with me when I go out instead of going on my own, because I'm constantly going to be thinking, well, I can't go out and do this because I won't be able to do this with Cole, and then I'll have the baby and I'll have nothing to do with the baby, and I'll have nowhere to put the baby if I'm doing this with Cole, and it's a lot of hard work. But that is why I've invested in a baby carrier, because I know that that will make my life so much easier when I'm like around the house doing pots and stuff. So little things like that that are going to make my life easier, I'm happy to have them. So the last question is, do you ever feel like you couldn't connect to your child like when he was first born? For me personally, I'm quite confused on what this question means. I think she's trying to say, like, when the baby was first born, did I connect with him? I think that's what she means. So, in terms of that, when Cole entered the world, I did not feel that massive bust of love that people feel for their kids when they give birth. And that doesn't make me a bad mum. That doesn't mean I didn't love my kids. And I'm not going to blame I'm on high on drugs or anything like that, because I had the epidural and I literally had no idea what was going on. I was pressing that button every 5 seconds. So I don't know if that had any effect to how I felt, but yeah, I was very confused when Cole came out. I think it's because everything happened so weirdly. I kept having doctors come in and out because Cole's heartbeat was dipping. So I kept saying to my mum, I'm going to need a C-section. So I was convinced I was going to have a C-section. 2 seconds later, everybody had left the room. Then the doctors came in and they said, we're going to push you down the birth canal. I just thought that meant they were going to push him down the birth canal. I didn't mean that was them saying, right, you're going to push, you're going to have him right now. So I had to ask them 10,000 times, so am I pushing? Am I having the baby? Am I pushing right now? Is it coming right now? Like, no joke, I constantly asked these questions on and off, like constantly, because I was so confused. Like, nobody was telling me anything. They just kept saying to push. So I was getting really confused and thinking, right, what the hell is going on? I've got no idea. So when Cole first came out, I didn't get that massive bust of love that some people feel. Not everybody feels it, but no, I didn't get that. 2 days after, when I fell poorly, I didn't feel like I could connect with Cole, and that wasn't anything towards him. It was the fact that I thought I was going to die. So I didn't want to connect with a child that I wouldn't be able to see growing up. I couldn't even push myself to him changed. I couldn't push myself to change his nappy. I couldn't push myself to feed him. I couldn't hold him. I couldn't look at him, because I was so heartbroken and I thought that I'd never see that little boy grow up. And honestly guys, it makes you think of, like, when you have something like that happen, it makes you think of life so much more differently. And I am now so aware of how I feel. So if I don't feel well, I'm going to go and get help. If I think there's something wrong with my body, I'm going to go and get help. Because you know your body more than anybody, and that was possibly the scariest moment of my life. But I'm not going to go into my labour and delivery story because I have done a video on that. So you guys can find that if you want to watch that. But that is all of the questions that I have gotten in today's video. I'm sorry if this video seems like my answers are literally coming from nowhere and seems like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I filmed this video, you guys wouldn't believe, 10 times. And it's been really stressful, and I still don't know what I want to do. I don't know whether I want to upload this. I don't know if I'm going to watch it back and cringe every single moment, but I've tried. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope it also answers some of the questions you guys have been wanting to know as well. If you guys did enjoy, please smash a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would be extremely grateful. And if you haven't already, please click the notification bell to be notified every single time I upload a video, and I will see you on my next video.